Fellow dentists, Matt here of the Lifestyle Practice. Let's talk about why your team isn't listening to you and how we can fix that. One of the biggest factors in practice growth is your leadership of your team. If you've ever struggled with team dynamics and giving feedback, I want to talk with you briefly today about the key, in my mind, to getting your team all moving and rowing the boat in the same direction. And it's simpler than you think. I understand that a lot of us, when we get into practice ownership, we feel like we have to play the part of a new owner dentist. Like we have to, like being a leader is being authoritarian or kind of bossing people around in a way. But the key is not to be someone different than who you are as a person. You've got to be honest and direct with people and treat them like human beings. And a lot of the time, those honest conversations are very difficult to have. They can be uncomfortable, especially at the start. But avoiding those hard conversations is about the worst thing you could do. And it's so common for us dentists to want to do that because we are often focused on seeing patients. We're focused on doing other things throughout our day. And it's just one of those things that makes the day a lot more difficult. As a leader, you've got to address issues head on, but do it with honesty and respect. People can tell when you're being fake. They can tell when you're trying to act like someone that you're not, and it kills trust and credibility with your team members. Instead of, again, trying to be someone you're not, be very direct and clear about what needs to happen in your practice, but always frame it in a way that is trying to help your team grow both personally and professionally. It's almost like you need to assume that you are dealing with a well-intentioned person, someone who's not intentionally trying to be bad at their job or make mistakes, and treat them as such. Your team is not there to just follow your orders, and they're not just existing for the success of your practice. They're human beings with goals and challenges and obstacles and potentially good things and bad things in their personal lives. These things will affect how they're operating as your employees and your team members. So if you really want people to go to bat for you and run through a wall for you in your business, you've got to take the time to get to know them, to understand why they're working at your practice, what their long-term goals are, how this fits into their life. And then you can tailor how you're working with this team member, complimenting the good things and correcting the not so good things to their own goals and their own lives. When you treat people like humans and not employees, they'll work harder, stick around longer, and genuinely care about the success of your practice and your success because you are two human beings who truly understand each other. But this has to start with you as the leader and the dentist. If you are not doing what you say you're going to do, or if you're not leading by example, if you're not a good person, if you're not a well-intentioned dentist, if you are a money-hungry person, or you're being rude or short-tempered with people, you can't possibly lead by example for your team. So the culture starts with you. If you're going to have high expectations for your team and your practice, you have got to have high expectations for yourself. Sometimes that means having a lot of self-reflection about who you are as a person, how you're communicating with others, and where you can improve. But that has to happen first before you can have a high-performing team. If you want your team to grow, you've got to grow as well. And you've got to create a safe space for them to come to you to have difficult conversations as well. I'll confess, in my own practice, my team members used to come to me all the time, and they still do today, giving me feedback on interactions with patients. Maybe I was a little colder than I should have been, or maybe I seemed distracted. Maybe I, addressed a team member in a way that made them feel not so appreciated. And although I don't wish I made mistakes like that, I know I'm human. I know I'm not perfect, and I don't have the answer to everything in my business, which is why I need to rely on the well-intentioned and talented people around me to help. So when you create a culture where people can discuss things and come to each other for feedback, even an employee coming to a boss, that is going to promote so much more growth in your business than if it's a top-down, what the boss says goes type of authoritarian relationship. That's just not going to be nearly as successful as a collaborative team relationship. So when you create this culture of open feedback, you've got to schedule regular one-on-ones, regular check-ins, regular meetings. And oftentimes that means you just being present in your office and seeing how everybody's day is going, seeing how you can help, making sure that your team doesn't feel like they're left out on an island, and making sure that you are supporting them in everything that they're doing. Just them knowing that you've got their back and that you appreciate them will enable them to work hard for you, go to bat for you, and not be afraid to make mistakes, knowing that you will understand that they have good intentions at all times. When your team knows they can operate without fear, they'll become empowered, and that's when the magic starts to happen for the culture in your dental practice. Look, being a leader doesn't mean having all the answers. It means showing up every day, being honest and direct, treating your team members like human beings, and doing your best to help the entire team succeed. If this video gave you something to think about, hit like or subscribe for more actionable tips that you can implement in your dental practice. Working with dentists like you all is what we do at The Lifestyle Practice. So if this video resonated with you, reach out to us. Head to our website, thelifestylepractice.com, and let's get the conversation started. Let's create better teams and dental practices together.